Hey guys, it's Alex Base here. Welcome to my channel. Today I've got the Poco F8 Pro, and this phone continues the tradition of Poco offering great value. We do get IP68 rating, and it is unspecified glass on the back, and now it's a smaller 6.59-inch screen. It's got a pre-applied screen protector and Gorilla Glass 7i on the front and an aluminum frame, very premium built, and the weight is 199 grams. And now also eSIM is available. The Poco F8 Pro does have a premium build and it feels really nice in the hand. The display on the F8 Pro has been trimmed down since last year's F7 Pro, however it's still a very nice screen. In our age of always increasing the size of those displays, to see a smaller display from the previous generation is kind of refreshing. And as you can see, compared to the OnePlus 12, which got a 6.82-inch screen, the difference is significant. Also, the AMOLED screen now, despite the fact it's trimmed down, it's still a very premium one with a full HD resolution, 68 billion colors, Dolby Vision, HDR10 Plus support, and decent 419 pixels per inch sharpness. I like the fact it's a flat screen, not a curved screen, and you can get HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision in Amazon Prime. The picture is sharp and vibrant with nice colors, and it also gets bright enough. Consumption of any sort of content is very, very good. No complaints here. You must have noticed the Bose logo on the back of the phone at the beginning of the video. That's because the stereo speakers are tuned by the American giant Bose. The clarity and the loudness are very good, however, there is very little to no bass. Of course, the F8 Pro runs on HyperOS, but unlike the Xiaomi 15T, actually comes with Android 16 coming straight out of the box. Here we actually get 4 OS updates, unlike the Xiaomi 15T, which is a welcoming news. Still 6 years of security patches, but again still bloated as usual. That is very annoying. Lots of pre-installed apps and also heavy modification. But then again, I'm going to be deleting as many apps as I can. There we go, this is a little bit better and I have customized it. That's one of the improvements here. There are more customizations on the F8 Pro, and also now you can swipe the app upwards to close it like on other phones, which is very, very good. Just as it seemed like they've made progress, well, something very nasty showed up on the screen that really, really annoyed me. And that something was ads in the system, which is unacceptable at this price point. Okay, you get app recommendations. We can swallow that. We can turn it off from the notifications in the settings. However, getting ads in the file manager and in the phone manager is completely unacceptable at this price point. Completely disrespectful to the consumer. Absolute slap in the face. There are no ads in the Google File Manager, so use that one instead if you opt for the F8 Pro, and this is complete joke, really. Unbelievable. As for the Poco File Manager and the Phone Manager, this is a joke. You can still clean it because it is heavily modified and there's trash building up very quickly on it, but the ads are deeply buried in the settings. You need to find them and then switch them off, and some of them are going to be switched off. Okay, Poco, Xiaomi, listen very carefully. I do understand that you put ads on your cheap phones. It could be £80, £100 phone, 150 quid. Could be £200 phone, you put ads. Your software is dog crap. I know it, you know it. The pigeons crapping on the roof of my house know it. However, the Poco F8 Pro, which is an upper mid-ranger, started at 515 quid here in Britain, 649 euros in Europe. Internationally, elsewhere, probably, let's say, $600 or something. And you put ads on it. Go yourselves. Now back to the review. Unbelievable freaking ads. This feels good. Now moving on to performance, and the Poco F8 Pro is powered by the flagship Snapdragon 8 Elite. It might be a year old chipset, but it's still very powerful, very, very snappy. And by very powerful and very, very snappy, I mean an absolute beast. Rather you use it in the ultimate mode or in the regular balance mode, the scores in the Geekbench 6 are very good. The stability under stress is also pretty good for a flagship top chipset. I also got good results in the Solar Bay stress test. The other thing that was very good was the Antutu score that scored over 3 million points. And on top of it, the AI scores were also good. This phone offers a beast performance. Here you can see the huge Antutu score and also the Geekbench 6 AI scores in the GPU and in the CPU, which are quite good overall. Another thing great about the F8 Pro's performance is that it's got UFS 4.1. Moving on to the battery, it's got a peculiar 6,210 milliamp hour capacity and it's 100 watt super fast charging. I'm using the UK European version, so I don't have to say it out loud. There's no charger in the box. I'm using my own 100 watt charger. And in half an hour, I got respectable 56% charge. A full charge took 1 hour and 6 minutes. If you're using an original Xiaomi 100 watt or 120 watt charger, you would get better and faster results. And again, a quick reminder that fast charging does not damage your battery lifespan. It's just total bull crap. We've covered the charging. What about the battery life? Well, it's an all-day battery easily. Even throughout a heavy, intensive day, you would probably get throughout most of it without any obstacles. I was pleasantly surprised by the endurance here. Now let's wrap it up with the cameras. All 4 sensors on the back are OmniVision, and we do get remarkable 8K 30 frames per second video on the main one, 50 megapixel main one, 50 megapixel telephoto lens and an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens. On the front we do get a 20 megapixel OmniVision snapper with only 1080p 60 frames per second. The selfies are much better than on the Xiaomi 15T, however they're still no flagship level. As you can see, the colors are okay, but they're a bit muted and the detail in the subject isn't top notch, but they're still quite usable throughout the day. The separation of the subject in portrait mode is a bit over processed as well, but it's still usable. The main camera produces nice results, and you can also filter them and use different modes. Rather than the default one, you can use natural or vivid, or if you want to some other funky mode, it's up to you. The level of detail is nice, the colors are also punchy, and the high dynamic range is decent. The results produced here are not, again, flagship level, but they are quite usable throughout the day. White balance is so-and-so, and the color accuracy is off. The ultra-wide shots are nothing to write home about. They're very basic with that outdated 8 megapixel sensor. The colors have been brought in line with the main camera. However, the level of detail isn't that great. Sharpness is awful, and they do appear to be a bit dark. The performance from the telephoto lens in 2x and 2.5x zoom is not bad throughout the day. There is a little bit of noise in it, but that's to be expected. Otherwise, very usable results, and I'm happy with them. The 5x digital zoom is a bit overprocessed, but again gives you very usable results throughout the day. You can check out the rest of those images and decide for yourselves. At nighttime, these selfies are good overall for this price segment, and the colors are consistent and the contrast is okay. The high dynamic range is also okay. In most situations, as long as there's enough light, you will get very usable results. The main camera produces not very remarkable shots at night. The level of detail is average at best, maybe decent to put it that way, but not good enough really. And the colors are okay, and there's a bit of noise in them as well. Clearly, they have cut corners here to save money since they're giving so much for such a low price. And again, of course, they're having ads in their freaking menu. You can certainly get better results with the competitors, but you cannot get better performance. The ultra-wide shots are very basic and barely usable, as you can see, but they're still better than I expected. The colors are okay and the HDR performance is also decent. However, as I said, it's nothing to write home about at all. The telephoto lens performs okay-ish. When there's enough light, it can give you, again, usable results. There is plenty of noise in the frame. However, as I said, the colors are okay, so they're usable in good lighting. 2x and 2.5x give you much better results than the 5x, of course. Whether you use it or not, it's up to you, but I suggest you stick to the 2 and 2.5x lens really at night. Now moving on to the video, the main camera produces good video overall, nothing to really praise it about, but the colors are good and the level of detail is nice. The ultra wide lens is quite fuzzy even during the day. However, you will be the judge of it, so I'm gonna leave you in peace now. Selfie video is limited to 1080p 60 frames per second, just like on this one here. Let's we're gonna compare it with the 30 frames per second in a second to find out if it's any better. And in terms of stabilization, if I can just move a little bit, it's not too bad. Not a lot of detail, but still usable throughout the day. Now let's compare with the 1080p 30 frames per second. And here you can see there's more detail and a little bit more accurate color temperature as well. And in terms of stabilization, it's a little bit better, I think. But still, yeah, in any case, if you're gonna do selfie videos on the Poco F8 Pro, stick to the 1080p 30 frames per second. It's better than the 60 frames. Definitely the selfie video at 30 frames per second is better than the one at 60 frames per second, but when you turn it around on the back cameras, it's actually the other way around. You're better off shooting at 60 frames per second rather than 30 frames per second, and use the 4K mode. Don't use the 8K mode because this is only compatible with 8K screens and it's not practical to really show you any video from it. Now let's compare directly the 4K 30 frames per second with 4K 60 frames per second video. Versus 4. Clearly you can see the stabilization and the clarity are better here when you compare directly at 4K 60 frames per second compared to 4K 30 frames per second. The footage is just better, and also HDR performance is better too. Let's check out the telephoto footage and the night footage, and then we can wrap it up. Well, there you have it, folks. The Poco F8 Pro. It has a lot going on for it. IP68 rating, eSIM support now available on it as well. Premium build, flagship performance, absolutely killer performance with the 8 Elite chipset. Good screen, excellent battery life, super fast charging. Sounds great, right? As expected, the weaknesses are the camera and the software comes with a very nasty surprise. The ads are completely unacceptable at this price point. For that simple reason, I cannot recommend you that phone at all. Not at this price point. Is this phone good enough for you? Well, at the end of the day, you decide, but this one, which I bought with my own money, is going straight into the bin. Thanks very much for watching, and see you next time. Ciao! We go. Freaking ads. Freaking ads. Oh, this is good.